Selling every single month is key to making a sustainable Etsy business. Last year, for instance, I made about 30 to 50k consistently apart from Q4. This year, in 2024, I made about 26k consistently every month apart from Q4 as well. So in this video, I'll go over how to sell consistently throughout the whole year. Let's get into it. The first thing that I really want to talk about is niche selection. So we need to be able to sell doing things that happen basically throughout the whole year. If you, for instance, mainly do Christmas stuff, then you will peak really heavily during Christmas and then dip as heavily during like January and February. And you won't sell that much at all during the whole year except for that specific time. So niche selection is super important because that determines whether we can actually sell during the whole year. And there's honestly mainly two ways to do that. That's to firstly look at evergreen niches. So what evergreen niches are basically stuff that happens throughout the whole year. For instance, professions, something that people are basically proud of is the thing that we want to target. People can be really proud about the profession that they're doing. So for instance, nurses and teachers are huge niches to be into that sell well throughout the whole year with different peaks here and there. So nurses and teachers, but interest overall too. So like animal lover gifts, sports, basketball, like things people are proud of is basically, in my opinion, like evergreen niches that you can sell out through the whole year. However, there's another part of the equation too, holiday niches. So when it comes to holiday niches, someone can buy a shirt specifically for an event during, for instance, like St. Patrick's Day or Father's Day or Mother's Day or Christmas or Halloween or Thanksgiving, any of these events that happens during the whole year. The main takeaway with these holiday niches is that they peaked during specific times, as I mentioned in the beginning, and they peak as heavily after that because these types of niches are just heavily associated with a specific event that happens during the year. So in my opinion, the best way to approach this is with kind of a combination of both. That's what I refer to as evergreen niches with peak sales times. What these basically are evergreen niches that have peak sales times throughout the year. What I mean now, for instance, is that if we just head into one niche that I'm referring to, which is an evergreen niche that I've mentioned earlier, but also has a specific peak time during May, and that's actually nurses. So I should search for nurse sweatshirt here. Since I live in Sweden, I gotta filter this to ship to the United States. And then I apply star seller filter. I then apply physical items, swap out star for best. Now we only see the best sellers for this given niche here. Now I use Allure here to see when things actually peak and how it looks throughout the whole year, just to see projections of how they actually sell. So let's take this one here. Okay, so this seems to be quite a new design, but as you can see here, it peaked hugely in May, and it seems to be kind of a new listing. It's 164 days old, like half a year, so they listed it this specific year. But yeah, then it kind of dips, it seems. Let's take another one. The nurse month of the year is usually in May. So okay, this one is a better example. So you see here, in about 12 months, it's done like over 100k just this specific listing in revenue. So in December, everything peaks, and that's just Q4 for you, which is awesome and exciting. But the best thing about this is that this one kind of sits here apart after that, but then it peaks here as well in May. So it's kind of like if we do nurse stuff, for instance, then that peaks heavily in May as well. Nothing peaks as big as Q4, as Q4 is Q4. But I mean, it still peaks in May since that's the nurse appreciation month, basically. Another great niche to be in is the teacher niche. And why? Because summer is the slow months during the year, which it's definitely not if we just in the specific niches that we need to be in. And one of those niches is the teacher niche. So I just search for teacher sweatshirt here, physical items, star seller, and then swap out star for best. And then we use our trusty Allure right here. Yes, this one is good. This one is a good example. So back to school is a huge niche to be into, but teachers overall, they sell well throughout the whole year. As everything does, it peaks during Q4, but you see this huge spike here in July, and that's because of the back to school rush. So in July and August, you get a big bump for teachers buying teacher stuff because they're going back to school soon. So the back to school rush is a huge thing to be into. By selling teacher stuff, you can sell out through the whole year, but get another bump apart from Q4 of course, in July and August. If you also sell nurse stuff, then you'll also get a bump in May, which means that 3 months out of the 10 months that are not Q4, you will still sell really well because you're in these specific niches. Plus they are evergreen, so they can sell out through the whole year. And just to point this out, there are so many things happening during the whole year that are like evergreen that you can apply this to and just sell stuff within. Another one, for instance, is dad sweatshirts. Let's take dad sweatshirts and just search for that. This type of niche, it sells really well during the whole year, but it peaks for Father's Day, which is in June, I think. We filter this correctly, physical items. Father's Day is basically in the middle of June. This peaks at during May and at the beginning of June, like just tip of June. So you can see here, basically, this one hasn't been live super long. It's been live for, okay, it's been live quite a long time, almost a year, but we can only see this because of this year. But you can see there that in April sales starts to trickle in quite heavily, and in May it really peaks, probably at the end of May. At the beginning of June you're probably selling quite well, but then it dips heavily as it's the 16th you need it by, so they probably stop buying this at the beginning of June. To sell some more during May and at the like slow summer months, it's a great way in the like the Father's Day, yeah, like the dad niche as well. And there are so many different niches that we can be in to sell out through the whole year, which are both evergreen and have peak sales times during the whole year, like Father's Day, like nurses, like teachers as well. So that is my preferred go-to way to actually tackle niches itself. But there's one big caveat to this that's the most important thing in my opinion, and that's when things are actually working for you, or like when things actually work for me. It's so important to just double down on it. So we can try out niches here, we can try niches there, here and there, here and there. But at the end of the day, when something is actually working, I just think it's so important to just double down on the thing that actually works. Let's say, for instance, that it's the nurse niche that works super well, then broadening yourself out to every single sub niche within nurses, every type of nurse there is, and just adding our designs into those niches is so important to make it actually work, just to actually make this whole Etsy business work and make it sustainable. Once we've basically doubled down on the thing that actually works, then we can scale it out to different niches as well, like broad niches, and to round out our shop and everything like that. But the main thing at the end of the day is that we gotta make this whole thing profitable. So if something works, I'd strongly recommend to just double down on it. And then once you've doubled down on it, then you can like test other niches out as well, but you still have like sales trickling in because you've doubled down on the thing that actually works. All right, so this video covers how to consistently sell throughout the whole year. And if you found some value in the video, then I suggest watching this video right here. It goes over the most crucial part about print on demand, which is design. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.